Welcome to Tiger Basketball Report, Episode 10. I'm your host, Devin LaTulippe. I'm joined by my co-host, Noah Zandy.
What's up?
Noah, how you doing today?
Pretty good, not too bad.
Unreal. And we're also joined by a special guest today in lieu of Sam and Landon, who both could not make it today. We haven't seen Sam on the pod in feels like ages, so I don't know what's going on with that guy. He's
such
just,
a bum.
Yeah.
Such a bum.
We're joined by special guest Andrew Burris.
What up? What up? I used to do this all the time, and then Devin was like, "You suck at your job, so you should be a history major." So that's exactly what I did.
Yeah, that's the long and short of it. Andrew is a former journalism student here at the University of Memphis. We had some class together last semester. Great friends. And then he just was like, I actually love history more than journalism, so I'm going to go do that. So we lost a good soldier in the journalism fight. But he's back here because he has some unbelievable Memphis basketball takes, and we needed some more people on the show.
Yeah.
And it all worked out.
It all worked out.
We've not had an episode in a while. Sorry, just so much scheduling conflicts this semester. But we're here now, and we're gonna kick up. We're gonna start off with Wichita State, which just so happens to be the game that I predicted.
Oh my
Here we
gosh.
go. Here we go.
Months ago on this show. Memphis losing at Wichita State.
You want us to clap for you? Is that what you want to happen, Devin?
No, I'm not asking for that. I'm just saying.
How about some flowers?
Now flowers would be nice. I'm just saying that I did predict it right. Unfortunately, of course, I don't want the Tigers to lose, but they did deserve to lose in this Wichita State game. They fell 84-79 in overtime. Now, I think we all have a lot to say about this game, but I'll start with you, Noah. What was your impressions watching this game and then afterwards?
Well, this is a very back and forth sort of game. I felt like Memphis had control going into the last minute. Key turnover from Dante Harris at the end, which was a really, really bad turnover. Just a bad break for Memphis. Not really an efficient game at all from Haggerty, shooting 4 for 18 from the field, 5 of 6 from free throws, which actually usually you see more free throws from Haggerty for drawing fouls. Going into overtime, it looked like Memphis sort of reclaimed the game. I think they got up like a 4 or 5 point lead, but it was just a collapse at the end. Wichita State didn't shoot particularly well from 3, which you usually see in upsets, but they did make timely threes, which I think was sort of the difference.
Yeah, especially Bijan Cortez. He had a crazy 3 at the end of the game to put them up 3, and that put them up 78-77. They just kind of ran away following that. Andrew.
Speaking of that Cortez kid, he played 37 minutes, shots 6 of 15 as a field goal percentage, but was 1 of 3 from 3-point range, and that one that he hit it kind of felt like, well, that's the turning point in this game. Mm-hmm. It's a Sunday afternoon. Memphis, they just didn't show up. They didn't finish the job. They did not finish the job, and I think they thought that it's not over until the fat lady sings, but I guess the fat lady sang way too early for him. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that was basically how the game went, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I think that they just kind of like, well, okay, we already played these guys. Like, who wants to play in Wichita? We're just gonna go in.
Ain't nothing in Kansas.
Let's just go in. And Penny's talked about this before. Like how he's like, well, we play like Michigan State and Connecticut in November, and then we have to like get up for UTSA in March. And it's like, yeah, I mean, that's tough, but like you just got to do it, man, because there's so much you have so much more to lose than to gain by winning this game, and it wasn't the end of the world. Like we saw them recover pretty quickly, and that's kind of what we were all expecting. I don't think anyone expected this loss to just rattle the foundation of the season. It was just kind of like stupid and silly. Like what are we doing? It ended an 8-game win streak.
I think one thing you also have to look at is like Memphis. This was, I think, the most like. This is a game that said the most to me that Memphis is in a terrible conference, a terrible place, not a terrible conference, but a terrible place because you lose this game and then the drop in the polls was ungodly. Like they were number 14, they went down to number 22 or something.
Yeah, I think it was 22.
Like that's a huge drop for a team that had an 8-game win streak and just lost. It was a game on the road to somebody who they definitely should not have lost to. They were 5-7 in the conference at the time, and then they went on a win streak after that or during that, I guess. But Do I think they should have taken what is that? A 6th place drop, 8th place, 8th place drop? No, I don't. But I mean, I guess that's the nature of the conference. You lose to a, end quote, nobody. For people who are listening, air quotes were put up, a nobody in this conference, or a nobody in, like, I guess the quad standards, like quad 3, quad 4. You lose the game and then you're just out. And yeah, I don't understand. This is the game that kind of said to my mind was like, you are in a pretty terrible conference.
I think another thing with these conference losses is, as a Memphis fan, I'm not so much concerned about the conference standings. I feel like it's been pretty clear all year Memphis is going to win the conference. But it also feels like how you said, taking these like terrible quad 3, 4 losses, if you happen to drop a conference game, it feels like you're dropping like a seed line every single loss you take. Because I think Memphis is floating around like a 5, 6-ish, and it felt like they went down to like an 8 in the next bracketology posted. So it just sucks. They have to be nearly perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if Landon was here, we missed you, Landon, because Landon is our bracketology expert. He's always got a little report on exactly where Memphis sits at. So miss you, Landon. Thank you, Landon. So, but yeah, Memphis seemingly floating around a 6 or 7 these days.
6 or 7.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah.
Win the games, doesn't matter. That's my take on it. But yeah, I think that the most concerning part about the Wichita State game to me was Memphis turned the ball over 10 times. Which for the Tigers is like
that's a great game.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, they've actually been much better about turnovers recently, except for last night. We're gonna get to that. But what are you gonna do? Well, what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
What are you, Tony Soprano?
Yeah. Anything else on the Wichita State game, fellas?
Let's forget about
that.
Yeah.
I mean, the lack of scoring was a big problem, especially. And Dane Danger had just come off like, oh my gosh, like a great little stretch of games of, scoring and rebounding. And in this game, he scored a whopping 4 points. And, I mean, him and Colby Rogers, and I expected better out of Colby Rogers because, he's from Wichita State.
Revenge game.
But regardless, they just didn't show up. They didn't show up, but they sure as heck showed up against FAU, did not they?
Great segue, Andrew. You're like a professional in this. They did show up against FAU. Tigers took down the Owls 84-65. And a relatively, I don't want to say boring. It wasn't boring. It was just kind of a handle business type game for the Tigers. Just do what they needed to do. This is at the Forum, so it was a good bounce back. Memphis turned the ball over once again just 10 times. They did shoot 26.3% from 3, which is, I think that's I can't remember. It's been so long. I think that might have been a season low. But I don't want to say that in case I'm wrong. But I'll check that while I go to Noah to give his impressions on the game.
Very similar to the road game we played against them. It's kind of close in the first half, and then we just pulled away based off of talent. This is very obviously, like I said last time we talked about FAU, is a very depleted FAU team.
Yeah,
losing a lot of players. So I think just a good win overall. I mean, you needed it after taking that loss to Wichita State, but good bounce back in a not very close game.
Yeah. Danger with a whopping 22. I just want to say Danger might be my most favorite player on this team. He's such a spark plug, and I was talking to you. It was after a later game, but you had said that you had a question at one point, and it was like on a team with so many spark plugs, who's the spark plugger of them all? And I think Danger is a great one, and this is kind of what you wanted to see. This is kind of what you needed to see out of Danger this game, except it happened at FAU at the Forum and not against Wichita State. I'm not saying Danger needs to score 22, but I'm saying that Danger is an intricate part of the game plan now. He's in a starting 5. He just needed to do better, and he saw what he needed to do better, and he did better. And I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Danger, for sharing your talents with the city of Memphis.
I'll let him know that I'll let him know that Andrew says so. Yeah, that was, unfortunately I didn't get to fire that one off. That was my question, was where's the spark plug on a team full of seemingly docile creatures? And I was wrong, everybody. It was not a season level shooting that came in the following game against Rice. I got my timelines a little mixed up. But what are you gonna do?
What
are you gonna do? See, at Florida Atlantic, I mean, there's really not a ton to say. It was a good bounce back game. It was just refreshing to see. Like, I think I can't speak for every Tigers person out there, but I thought that the Wichita State game was more or less a fluke. I was like, okay, they're just not. They didn't come to play. It happens. We figured they'd lose a conference game or two. I'm not really concerned about this. Even if they would have looked shaky against Florida State and they win by 5 points. What'd I say? Florida State?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's great. FAU, excuse me. Then it still would have been a concern. But the fact they won by 19, yeah, my math's right.
Yeah.
It just goes to show it was just kind of a whatever game. So that was reassuring. Standout players, I think we've already mentioned Dane Danger, BJ Haggerty. Great to see those guys. Kobe Rogers also with 15. Good bounce back game for him after he had a rough outing. Any more thoughts on the Florida Atlantic game?
Nope. Good bounce back. Last year it would have spiraled. We would have lost this one too.
I agree.
Hey. I'm looking at this box score right here.
Tell us.
Hey, look, I got Jourdain at 0 points. Now, look, I'm a big fan of Memphis Tigers basketball, and I'm so glad that Jourdain has decided to share his talents that I've so longed to see in the past couple of games. He kind of went off against Rice. That was when we first saw, his spark plug energy that he brought. Spark plug that you use, and I'm so happy. I am so happy that he is 6'8" for a reason, man. Look, we go into this Rice game. 19 points. Up to this point, that was the best game he had in his college career at Memphis, right? And I remember sitting there. My friend who I was at the game with, he went to go get something to drink, and we were shooting abysmal from 3-point range. And I think that's
the game that I was referring to, or that's the lowest of the season, 2 for 13.
And as it looks, Jourdain hit one of the only.
It was him and Tyrese Hunter.
Yeah,
or he and Tyrese
Jourdain
Hunter.
hit the first 3-pointer for the Tigers in that game, and man, that stadium, like, you could feel kind of like, okay, this is where this is going to turn around a little bit.
Yeah. And
thank you, Jourdain, for being 6'8".
We do have a lot of we do talk a lot of Jourdain on this podcast, just because there's just not a lot of room to mention Jourdain all the time, and I feel that he kind of gets the short end of the stick a lot of the time, and we like Jourdain on this podcast. We think he does good stuff for the team. He did struggle against he's had some struggles. He's even admitted that himself in the post game. He's talked about it's been a very up and down season for him. His mental fortitude's been strong, keeping it going. It was good to see the Rice game where he had 19-9. Definitely his best game of the season so far. Just everything you can ask for, he was just doing it.
Danger also had a double-double. Shout out Danger.
It's just good to see Jourdain playing up to his capabilities. Noah, what'd you see in the Rice game?
I was there at the game also. I think the entire crowd had sort of this nervousness the entire time. Like, why is this still close? Like, when are we going to break away? And we picked the final 2 or 3 minutes to do it. And it was an onslaught at the end. That run at the end was crazy. It just felt like bucket after bucket after bucket, everything going Memphis's way towards the end. So it was a great way to finish off a shaky game throughout against a, let's be honest, a much inferior opponent.
Yeah, and they mentioned on the terrible ESPN Plus broadcast last night that Rice had gotten swept by UTSA. I think that tells us all that we need to know about Rice. Anyways, another thing I wanted to say is thank you, Sir Will, for giving PJ Haggerty that tech. Man, I don't think you could have made a better decision than to give PJ Haggerty that tech. I think that, you got booed out of the arena, and we saw you again last night, the UTSA game, and I'm sure you had some words with Haggerty about what to say and what not to say. Just call the game correctly next time, pretty please. Thank you, Will. Anyways.
That is those are the words of Andrew Burris. He is not a fan of
Sir Will. I don't even know your last name. You're that irrelevant.
Yeah. Anyway, but
sorry if Haggerty hurt your feelings a little bit.
Here's an interesting quote from Partaway after the Rice game. He says, "Well, if you notice, it seems like there's maybe someone called in that they're not giving PJ calls anymore. Like when he goes to the basket, he didn't get to the free throw line like he felt he deserved, and maybe he said something inappropriately. But it is frustrating as a coach and to PJ they aren't getting him those same calls. So there was a unanimous frustration with the tech on PJ. We didn't get an exact word on what he said." Because PJ did not come in with the players because they knew that he would probably spill the beans on what he said.
All he said was, see you at Huey's after this or something.
I'm sure he was like, hey buddy, great call.
Or great no call.
Yeah, great no call. So Coach Harway mentioned he said something inappropriately. Nick Jourdain was like, he didn't curse or anything, so we don't really know. Probably just something passionate. I think in college it can be as simple as a ref you suck to get a tech.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's like the NBA curse rule. I think it's just like anything.
Man, that arena erupted in ref you suck chants.
Yeah,
and I was part of it, and I gladly admit that.
I'll admit that too. I'm right there with you.
I was, of course, not. I was up in the. I could not chant. But,
so you were above us,
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm saying.
You were looking down upon the
Devin
peasants.
was looking at the peasants.
Trust me. Trust me, I was. Anyways, yeah, 15.4 from 3-point line, which I already mentioned. Just awful shooting, but they still won by 12 points. So what more can you ask for, really? That was a crazy onslaught at the end of the game.
Yeah.
I personally wasn't nervous about them losing, just because I think the previous game against Rice was disgusting too, wasn't it? I believe it was.
I was going to say something along the lines of I remember last year. It was a throwback game, and last year was last year. I'd rather not bring that up, but Rice, I don't think we ever had a lead in that game, and Rice just pretty much dominated from start to finish. And also on the Rice game, is this the first game we got to see what Demarion Yates could do?
It was, yeah, it was actually. Or he might have got minutes in the past. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's the first time we checked into a game, but this is the first time we played first half minutes. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
or meaningful minutes.
And I think Penny had made of course I was scrolling through Twitter, looking at all this, and Penny had made a quote the team came out slow, so we put in, for lack of a better term, our bench, or I don't want to quote him word for word on that, but the Tigers were very flat at the start of the game.
Yeah.
And I think that's the reason why he put him in, and he had the most points coming off the bench. He had 6 throughout the entire game.
Yeah. So he got some minutes in the Florida-Atlanta game. He got, looks like 8 minutes in that. I do remember that, actually, because it was kind of a big deal when he came in. But you're right, he did make more of his minutes in the Rice game. How many points did he have, you said?
He had 6, shot 2 for 2 from the field goal.
Yeah, and I think he had some nice passes in that game, too. He's been a kind of a surprise,
he was a walk-on. He's from Fayette-Ware, which is a school near here. And, man, as a walk-on, you dream of your opportunity, yeah.
Yeah, he's been a nice addition. Did you have something to know?
No.
Okay, so I thought you were getting ready to speak. I was wrong. Anyways, anything else on Rice, fellas? No?
No, I'm good.
All right. That brings us to UAB. Now, UAB. At UAB. Obviously, the storyline going into this game is Dane Danger and Yaxel.
Bro? Dane Danger and Bro?
In the post game to Rice, Dane Danger did make it very clear. He was like, listen, I'm not answering any questions about
Bro.
I'm not answering any questions about Yaxel. Don't even ask me. I'm just going to say the next question. So we didn't get the same build-up that maybe we were all hoping for, but I do think it came out in this game. You could definitely tell these teams aren't a big fan of each other. And that's just kind of the nature of sports. Whenever the two best teams in the conference play, there's going to be some sort of rivalry or animosity present. You saw that last year with Florida Atlantic. I'll go to you guys. Thoughts on this game?
No, you go first.
All right. So the first half is sort of shaky for Memphis. Getting into the second half, though, there was a time through maybe midway through the second half where it was floating around like a 6-point lead or so for UAB, And then Memphis just went on. They turned the defensive intensity way up. You could definitely see it. Cut the lead down and took it and never really looked back. Obviously, I saw a ton of intensity from Danger. I wonder why. But this was a really nice road statement win. I think the money line was like half a point, so this was really a pick'em game from a national perspective. And I think Memphis did a really good job of showcasing themselves and showing that when they're playing at the top of their game, they can come out and win games like this and not struggle and look good. Because I think the past few games, Memphis have looked sort of like, I don't know, they're just kind of sleepwalking a little bit.
Nonchalant.
Yeah, just getting through, like, let's just get through this. But I think Memphis, this was the one where they woke up and they were like, we have come to play this game. We're going to win this game.
Yeah. I just want to, let's take a look at Bro's stats. Lil Bro, that is. 40% from the field goal, and he shot 0 for 3. 2 for 5 from a free throw line, and 10 points in total. Safe to say that Dane Danger pretty much shut him down. You know, I remember, of course, I was watching it from home, or from my dorm room, I guess. It was Yaxel going in, and he was being guarded by Danger, like, pretty close. And I don't think Danger was guarding Yaxel at first, but then after Danger scored a bucket, it kind of got the intensity ramped up from there for those two. But Yaxel was going in, and Danger honestly got beat. Let's be honest. I feel like he kind of got beat, and Yaxel just didn't get the ball to go in the hoop. And you know, I think if Yaxel might have gotten that, he stands a little bit more big chance against his big bro. But he got little broed by Dane Danger. Thank you, Dane Danger, for being Dane Danger.
Yeah, that's certainly a way to put it. That was just beautiful.
Thanks. I do my best.
Yeah. Andrew is what a guy. Noah, you got anything else on this game?
Nope, not really.
Yeah, this one was kind of just a once again handle business. Tigers knew they were better than the Blazers. Dane Danger, PJ Haggerty, dynamic duo, one of the best in the country. Just gonna handle business, you know.
Yeah. I guess the one player that surprised me from UAB was the McGee kid. He hit a lot of like shots that I didn't think were going to go in, and he had that dunk at the end that was in garbage time, unfortunately. But you know, he was 100% from the 3-point range, shooting 4 for 4, and that run that you were alluding to, I feel like that's where at least 2 of those came from. He wound up with 22 points, but ultimately the talent of Memphis just kind of took over that game. And yeah, shout out Memphis, man, putting it on for the city.
Sure did. And that brings us to
22 turnovers.
22 turnovers.
22 turnovers. 22 turnovers. That is pathetic. That is so pathetic. What happened to the game I love? Actually, hold on, let me get 22 turnovers. What happened to the game that I love? Somebody tell me. What happened to the game that I love? Because that was pathetic. That was awful.
As you see, Andrew is a little upset following the Tigers game last night. That did, in fact, include 22 turnovers. Yeah, it was disgusting. I don't know what... I really don't know. I don't know what the deal was. I don't know if maybe they were like ready for spring break, ready for senior night. They didn't want to. They wanted to get out that high school gym and San Antonio. Not to dunk on UTSA, but goodness gracious, that gym.
Don't dunk on UTSA. Their basketball.
Oh yeah,
that might fall over.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah,
Tyree. Yeah, that was. Before we get into the game, Tyrese Hunter threw down maybe the tamest dunk I've ever seen in my entire life, and the rim almost collapsed around him. And the commentator goes, "Whoa, try to be. We need to be careful with these rims." I'm like, brother, he barely that was like a dunk to like someone that just was able to. I don't know. That was kind of ridiculous.
I don't know if y'all saw the replay. Danger dunked it. That's when it almost came up off the ground, and he got down from the hoop, and he looked back up to goal because he thought it was falling on him. I'm like, man, I'm sorry. How poverty does your program have to be?
Yeah.
Do you not get any funds? Whatever. Look, they shot 41.7% from 3-point range. I think that's one of the bright spots, other than out rebounding UTSA by 20.
Yeah, in a game with not a lot of bright spots, they did rebound. What was it, 45-25?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, just not that covers up the 22 assists. Luckily, something that is kind of, if you want to make lemonade out of lemons, the Roadrunners only scored 19 off those 22, which is statistically not.
Yeah, it's definitely not great.
It's not great, mostly because UTSA's offense was dribble around the shot clock for 23 seconds and take a step back and test a three. That's kind of what we gathered from watching. But, there was a period. The best way I can sum this game up was there was a period between inside 3 minutes, no one scored till 10 seconds. I think the last bucket was like a 3:22 or something like that, and then no one scored again until 10 seconds. That was PJ Haggerty shooting free throws. I mean, these teams were just trading bricks just throwing up prayers. Nothing was falling.
Yeah.
Just
Especially, I swear, Memphis was giving them every chance that they could have.
They were.
And they just, I guess they decided not to go for the tie, but to shoot bricks up off the
Yes, so
backboard.
they were down 3. They were down 2 with, I believe it was 12 seconds left with the ball, and the shot clock was turned off, and they chucked up a 3 with 12 seconds on the clock. Just kind of a baffling decision.
Then they had another chance.
Then they did have another chance.
And then they turned it over, because Bro stepped out. I forget who Bro was, but
yeah.
So, I want to talk about the ending because it might have been one of the worst endings I've ever seen by two teams. It was a great collaborative effort to just do nothing. So, 4:36, Jourdain hits a 3, and we don't score again until 10 seconds left the game when Haggerty hits free throws.
Yeah.
So,
shout out Jourdain, by the way.
Yeah,
Shout
I know,
out Jourdain.
exactly, right? So, let's be real. Memphis did not deserve to win this game at all. This was so poorly mismanaged by UTSA. It felt like everyone wanted their moment at UTSA to hit the game winner.
Yeah.
And fortunately for us, they don't have the talent capabilities to do that. So that's any other team we would have lost this game for sure. But just a really badly managed game by UTSA at the end. I don't know what their obsession with oral farming threes is, but
Or farming.
Yeah, I'm not sure that UTSA has a real. I mean, no, don't get me wrong. UTSA had some nice plays. They had some good back cuts. They were able to get baskets when they want to, which makes the step back threes even more confusing. It was just like, is this what you think that? Is this how you think you beat Memphis, or I don't know? Just not capitalizing off turnovers and just chucking up prayers. It's just I don't know what the deal was, but thankfully the Tigers were thankful for it. I think viewers were probably thankful for it, but
I was thankful it was over.
Yeah, I was thinking that the broadcast itself was over. I mean, my golly,
yeah,
son.
Andrew was not happy with the broadcast either.
Yeah, the announcers, which it should be said that whenever I was a journalism major, I was more on the broadcast side, and the company that I work with, which is local, I've directed so many broadcasts better than whatever that was. Shout out the announcer bro that was like dogging on Memphis the entire time. Anyways, he said chucking up prayers. I'm chucking up prayers for Dante Harris. He went down and only played 1 minute.
How do we not mention this before? Yes, Dante. Anyways, continue.
He went down, and as soon as he went down, I was like, there was some contact on it, but he landed awkward, and I was like, man, he done tore his ACL, out for the year. But I think I saw a report where Penny had said that he thinks it's just a high ankle sprain, and he'll be out for however long it takes. But hopefully it's nothing more serious. Hopefully it's less serious than a high ankle sprain.
Of course, yeah. He did. Yeah, whenever he hit the ground, he immediately cringed and kind of held it. He didn't walk off in his own power, but you did see him walk off, which, I mean, he didn't put any pressure on his.
There was no weight on that ankle.
Yeah,
He's being carried
there's no
off.
weight. So, thoughts and prayers obviously got to Dante Harris. Yeah, we'll see. We'll continue to monitor the situation. We hope that he's back soon. What else do we have on this UTSA game? This is before I don't know if you guys have anything else to say. Before you guys say it, this is the game that both these teams will take this tape and toss it into the trash. They will not watch. They won't go back to this to. What can we do better here, fellas? I can almost guarantee both these teams will erase this from their memory. This one's going in the garbage. It's the game before the end of the season. This one did lock up the American for Memphis, though, or at least a share of it. which is a good thing.
Went out. I don't know when this podcast is coming out, but Friday they have a game. Hopefully they can win against USF and win it outright.
That would be ideal. That would certainly be ideal. I believe that was either my or Sam's hot take to start the year. I think on the next episode, what I want to do is I want to go back through those hot takes that we all published, excluding Andrew and Noah, of course.
Okay, whatever.
They don't have any on there. I believe it was just the Tiger Sports Report folks. But we all published a couple hot takes from Memphis basketball. I do want to go through in the next episode, which will probably be coming back from spring break, because that's post. Or maybe we'll do once before. It doesn't matter. What I'm getting at is I want to go through the hot takes, see who was right, see who was closest. Kind of observe those, because I do believe either Sam or I said Memphis won the conference outright. But that's neither here nor there.
That's a hot take.
I was gonna say that's a hot take. I thought that was a.
That's an expectation, Devin.
Well, that's still same thing. Hot take expectation. If you remember correctly, Memphis was not projected to win the conference. This year.
UAB was, and then they got Lil Broed by Dane Danger. Look,
well,
here's
that's
the
your
deal.
story. Yeah.
I love Coach Penny Hardaway. I love what he stands for. I love what he did at East High School, with James Wiseman. But when you're in the conference like this, when you're going against North Texas and UAB for the top 2 spots, you better be better than North Texas and UBA. You better be better than them, because the talent that Memphis has is so far and beyond what anybody else has. To me, that's an expectation. It's just what could Coach Hardaway have done with the talent. And I feel like he's coached them up, especially Danger.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right. Do we have anything else to say? Anything else to get off our chest? Any other bones to pick with anything?
I don't.
All right. Well,
get rid of that UTSA game.
Yeah.
Move on.
Yeah. So Memphis will face off. Final game of the season. We have senior night for a team full of transfers on Friday at 8 o'clock, South Florida.
Shout out South Florida.
Shout out South Florida.
Go Bulls. Or actually, please don't go Bulls. Please forfeit the game so they can automatically win.
Come on, USF. You have nothing to play for.
Yeah.
Come on, you're done.
But, thank you for listening, and we will catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.